Yo, hello, welcome. I am the infamous aizyesque, and I'm here to help you learn to play Biome. Um, a lot of people think this map's really complex because if you look at the mini-map, uh, it looks really fucking complex. And a lot of you will look at that and go, I don't want to learn to play this map. It's too difficult, it'll never be a pro map, etc, etc. So I'm here to show you that it's really not that difficult, and a few couple of tips and tricks I've learned from playing the map a couple of times that maybe you will use. So first of all, we started in T-spawn, and this is the path, this is what we call B main, or what I call B main. And then here you go is the B site, so you've got this big box here which I know is quad because it reminds me of the cache quad. That's up there on the ramp. That triple box and this, I'm not really sure what to call this because I've never seen somebody play here, although it's quite a good spot as a CT. Down here is CT and then Heaven, as you might expect. So the cool dynamic with the B site is with Heaven. So normally you would have one player on B, and to do a simple B rush, I'll show you a couple of cool tricks. So this X on the wall here is the second one in. If you aim at this skylight and flash, it's going to flash perfectly in the middle of this door, which is going to flash anyone holding it from here, here, or Heaven, which is a really nice flash. And then there's another simple flash, I think it's the skylight again. Yep, and that will flash anyone holding close here. And then so what you want to do is if you're planning to attack B, is you're going to come down here and you're going to hold this angle. Say you can do it with a rifle or with an AWP, and an AWP might peek you. If not, you can slowly sort of creep up, and you'll want to check this angle because again, often there'll be an AWP there. Maybe you flash beforehand. Get your AWP to hold this. Once you're comfortable that you've got control of this and maybe this angle, if you come up against this wall on this red line, you want to aim at the top of the corner of that, and that's going to smoke CT for you. I hope. Yeah, excellent. Smoking Heaven from there is a lot more difficult. You'll probably want to just once you've cleared this, you'll want to clear Heaven. It's easy to smoke freehand. You can just smoke it like that. He says. Yep, there we go, that'll do. And then you can play after plant once you've got the bomb down. There's a lot of places. Plant the bomb here is nice because you can cover it from B main, and then you can just sort of hold this. An angle like that is quite nice because they can come through that red door, obviously. With CT smoked and Heaven smoked, it's hard for them to rotate from the other side anyway. But you can experiment with some different plans. That's a nice one if you want to go and play in CT, or that for CT in Heaven, but you're very open. Yeah, that's so the more interesting part of the B site to me is this little connector here. So obviously you can come through B and you will get to this doorway before the CTs do, I believe. Yes, you do, but you will need to be careful of here because up here you can boost if you have a friend. I sadly do not at this moment in time, but you can boost up here and get into Heaven. I'll show you from the other side. This bit here is mid. We'll get to that a little bit later. There's a CT you spawn there also, and you'll come up here and you can hold B from up here. But what I like to do if I'm playing here at the start of the round is cover this to help your mid player who will be holding there. You just cover this passage for them so they can't run through this door and into mid, and hopefully your mid player will cover this so they can't rush to you. But yeah, obviously they can boost up here. They can clear these angles. Obviously, you want to be careful you're being flanked from there, but then you can flank the B site from up here, and that's a simple, really simple B split is via Heaven. So you will take mid, the T, you'll come through here, you'll boost up there, you'll kill, hopefully trade this guy off. You can have, so if you had 3B, 2 mid, or 2B, 3 mid, maybe you trade this guy here, you trade the guy here, you get one of your B players to come through this door, boost you up, and then you go and take the B site with a split from there. That's a really simple B split. Obviously you've got your smoke CT from in here, and you can do a really simple B split like that. So So now we'll get to mid, because obviously that's a pretty important part of this map. You'll spawn there, you'll run through here, and you'll immediately want to scope up here. It's kind of like Dust 2 on the long side of A, on the doors, where the timing is a little bit skew-if. CTs sometimes get there before you, sometimes you get there before them. So it's obviously very beneficial to have an AWP or even an SG recently, especially in matchmaking. Would do wonders because you can just scope a box angle, kill them. They can peek from up or down, so they can peek there or there. So do be careful if they catch you off guard. Once you're comfortable you've got this, obviously you can go into B, or the cool thing you can do is if you clear all these angles like here, there, you can lurk out onto the A site. And here you go, here is the A site. You're behind, hopefully you're behind the A players. And if you have people coming streaming through long or streaming through A main, you can just hold rotations here or here. And you're the snake in the grass, you win the round. It's a really nice lurk you can do, and the moment people aren't too aware of it, eventually they'll be aware that coming through mid is extremely powerful. So yeah, mid offers you a back door into the A site and a boost into the B site, which I think is a really interesting mechanic. Speaking of the A site, let's go towards that. So this connector here is kind of strange. It means that the T's, if you want a fast peak mid, you have to come this way. But later on, or like, you can take a slightly longer route and obviously come through there, through here, and hold maybe this, which is the B main, the mid to B connector. Or you can try and catch them off guard with a peak like that. But generally, you're not going to be. There's more of a rotation. If you're rotating from A to mid, it's more useful. So right here you have A main. It's quite simple for the CTs to go aggressive in. And there you have A long. What did I? So we got A. Is this a smoke? No, I can't remember what yeah, if you wanted to flash peek this, you want to come up against... Shit, what was my... There was a flash bit. I think you stand in the corner. Aim at... Shit, where was it? It's not quite far enough. I had a flash set up for this. I think it might have been the bottom corner of that light. You double click throw. Yeah, there we go. And that's going to flash anyone holding this angle, which is quite a common one. Hold the A sight from. And once you've got control of this, you stand in this corner, double click throw at the bottom of that light. It's going to flash there. And then and then from A long, so you'll come down here into A long. Probably going to take a fight somewhere around here if they want to go aggressive. If not, you got to hold that angle, which is into their spawn. Got to check this as well because it can jump up there. Once you've got control of this, you stand in the middle of this wall, I believe. It's there, and then aim at this middle one. So they've got your 2 high points here. You want to go for the top of this. I think, yes, that smokes off the CT and mid area, so the mid player will be trying to rotate in as he hears it's an A call. He'll be fully smoked off. Any players rotating from B this way will be smoked off. And you can quite easily Molotov this big box as well from long if you'd like. Something like that. Yeah, you just kind of want to throw it over this wall, and it's generally going to land behind there. Molotov this guy out. He's probably going to swing this. If he swings that way, your people coming through A main will get him. If he swings this way, you can get him. You can just smoke that off, or it's a really nice place to hold rotations after the plant. Just come here. The B players are likely going to rotate this way, or through mid. Go through mid, you've already got them smoked off. But that's quite an easy way to take their site. The one thing you need to worry about are positions like this one, which is a real bastard to clear, honestly, or on here. So you'll want to clear this as a team. You'll want to have your players coming through here. You want to clear this first, then here, here, close right. Hopefully this will be smoked. This is a nasty angle they can play, but with 4 players or so, you should be okay. And then you got one guy splitting through mid. It's quite a simple site to take. You will need to worry about this spot here as well, actually. Do not overlook this or you can get ninjaed. somebody just sits in this corner. You think you've got the A side that can swing out and win the round, but it's quite simple. And that's what I mean. This map looks really difficult from the mini map, but I've basically covered the basics of every like all your T side, like the way you want to attack the site. I think. Well, I mean, obviously it's very very basic, but it's quite a simple map to explain. Once you figure out what you're doing, it's quite similar to Overpass, I think. And that mid is extremely important to any level of if you want to have controllers, if you want to confuse the CTs, you have to take mid. If the CTs come here, as you come into, you want to come into mid as a CT, and you'll want to just sort of like flash there, and then peek, because that's going to pop just there, right in the line. If anyone holding this, you can peek this. If you have mid controlled as a CT, it offers you so much because you can start to creep up. You can flank behind the B players from there, or the A players through there, or you can quite simply open this. So this door starts closed, obviously. You can quite simply come through here and then peek there. It's quite nasty to peek around this corner because you can just get spammed through the door as soon as they know you're here. But you can sort of take some B main control with your B player. And then you can early rotate to A. You also have an extremely fast rotate if you're the mid player. So even if you get sort of smoked out here, you give an extremely fast rotate to A, but it's a lot longer to get to B because you need to come around here, and then you can either go down there or up here. So in general, the way I always think you should set up as a CT side is have one player on long, or if you want to go aggressive, actually, I think you stand in this corner. No, where do you stand? It's on this piece of wood, and you aim. I think it's at that. Yeah, it's about right, and that's going to flash. That flash is going to pop right here, and you can sort of peek around, kill anyone coming long. Obviously, it's a two-man thing, so if you have your two A players, and you just say, right, fuck the A side for now, we're just going to stand here, throw this flash, take the long control. Once you have long control, you can either back off and you can hold the site from here. It's quite difficult to deal with as a T, like you're not really expecting that. Or you can push up, come into A main from this angle, and kill them in here. Obviously, if there's no one there, you rotate, but it's quite an easy way to go aggressive. I think this map offers a lot for the CTs in terms of going aggressive. You can obviously just do a simple pop flash. That's not quite far enough. A simple pop flash. It's more like it. Into A main, and just peek and take a fight early if you'd like. Or alternatively, you can just play it really passively. So on the A side, you've got this angle that I mentioned earlier. You do have to be careful because I think they're going to see you first, but it could be quite nice to get a kill or two. This head glitch here is quite a powerful one. This here, obviously you can stand on this. Using this pillar as well as quite a lot of cover because it's quite difficult to bang. See, some of these shots are going through, but like you can't go all the way through it. You can go through the corner, but you're not going to do too much damage to this, so you can sort of jiggle around this and waste a little bit of the T's time. You can play ultra passively from like here or here, but obviously you could be smoked out by that smoke. This is quite a nice angle because you're probably not going to be seen from up there, but you can hold the door. You will obviously, that is very bangable there. As mentioned, you can play back here and hold this. You can't really, well, you can come around this side obviously and hold A long if your A long player's under some stress, but obviously you can be quite open from A main. As I say, mid, you want to just sort of throw a simple flash on that peak. But they're generally going to come from that side at the start of the round. After a while, you'd need to be worried that they're coming from that side. You can also flash for, so you can throw a very simple flash like that and have the Heaven player just jump out of Heaven and swing and peek from here, which is a slightly different peek. You know, if you're similar to Mirage mid, sometimes you'll peek from connector or short, sometimes you'll peek from window. Think of that as window and this is like short. This is your second angle to peek from. And then again, if you don't find anything, you can come through here and help your B player. So, as a general setup, you'll want to play a B anchor. Often, B players will play either here or here, which I don't think is a particularly good angle because If you die, they just have free reign of the site. Whereas if you play somewhere back here, it's a little bit safer. You're not going to get rushed immediately by like SMGs and the AK-47s. You can play here, take a shot, and just sort of stay alive for a little bit. Obviously, I think you need to boost onto that box. Yeah. An angle I found last night playing this map that I really like is just here. You crouch on this, you get like a sort of head glitch over this box, and nobody really expects it, because it's a pretty disgusting angle. You can obviously just play down here and just play these sort of, use this box as cover, a bit more passively, or simply here. But it's kind of dodgy. Ah, this is a nice angle like this. I knew there was an angle around here I liked. This is quite a nice angle. Drop off. Probably get spammed. You can obviously play it from CT here, but this is incredibly passive. You'll get smoked out, and you have to play retake, and it's not a particularly nice site to retake. As I say, as the Heaven player, what you want to do is hold this at the start of the round. But then if your B player causes a rush, you can just peek here. If you get forced off this angle, you should kill here. I like to hold that angle, because often the T's never really want to run out this way because you're running into the open of all this space. So anyone playing here, 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 here can see you, and like obviously it's easier for Heaven to see you. So they often wrap around this box, and you could just hold this angle, especially with an AWP. It's a free kill if they do peek you. Is there anything else? So yeah, I would play one here, one mid, one B anchor, and then one A long, one A main most of the time. Unless, of course, as I say, you're going aggressive. That's basically the basics of Biome. It didn't really work. I was hoping to flash in here as a nice pop flash. Just take some A main control as a CT. The most confusing part of this map for me is retaking it is quite difficult because most of the map is kind of like, there's a lot of nuance in this part of the map that is kind of useless. So if you're an A player, you need to retake B, you have to wrap all the way through here, and then you have to go all the way around here or through there. It's kind of a long rotate if you want to flank. And wrapping A to B or B to A as a CT is tough unless you have mid control, which is why I think of it similar to Overpass. Because you kind of need control of the central parts of the map, like short and connector, if you really want to rotate fast and get fast flanks off. But yeah, that's Biome in about 20 minutes, maybe even less. Just make sure if you do lose mid, I guess that's the most important thing that people want to know. If your mid player is dog shit, what's the problem? So if your mid player dies at the start of the round, you're in a 4v5 as the CT, and you set up, as I said, 1B, one up here, and then 2 towards A. Your A player immediately needs to back off, because he's going to get split from 3 different directions, or at least 2 different directions. You can call your Heaven player over to come play here, but it's going to take him a little while, because obviously he's got to run all the way down here, out here. By then, they could be here, so you do need to be really careful as the A player if your mid player dies. If you are the Heaven player and your mid player dies, I would say you should rotate to A, because the immediate danger of them having mid is coming through here, right? If they have mid control, they can come through here, they can split A 3 different ways if they're quick, and your A players will be done. So you want to rotate here. If they're not here immediately, they can be in Heaven. Obviously, they can boost up in Heaven, so when you come back here, you want to be really, really careful with all these angles. This is really bangable, by the way. It's quite useful if somebody's sort of jiggling here, and you're holding on this side, bang, bang, kill them. So if you really want your mid player to stay alive. I think that's the most important part of playing mid on most maps, but especially on this one, is stay the fuck alive. Even if you have to play, if you keep dying in mid and you're the mid player, or your mid player keeps dying and you're not playing mid, tell them to just hold it from here. Just stop them getting onto A at all costs from mid, and then your B player, your Heaven player, can just be really quite passive. And if you, because, so from mid, to go from mid to B, they still have to go through either this doorway or here, right? So there's only really 2 entrances they can get into B. So if your mid player is just forced off mid, they can come here and here, but that doesn't really change your B main player's job. Your B main player's job is still hold this doorway. So even if your mid player is just not in mid, and you're here, you're not. You just need to stop them boosting. So if your mid player's passive, just play like this. Just play these sort of close angles. Stop them boosting, because that's the only danger to your B main player. You're basically the support for your B main player. Is don't let them get split on. If your mid player is aggressive and has mid, you can start to be a bit more cautious. You can start helping your B player out. You can sort of... Oh, that's not good. Flash that doorway for him to peek. A little bit. Flash that doorway for him to peek. That's a much better flash. Or you can actually drop down and play 2 on the site if your mid player has mid control. Alternatively, if they're in mid and they have that control, you can come here and just hold. Just wait for somebody to come through this door. Wait for this door to open. You know, kind of like Squeaky on Cash. Just you can play right next to the door, wait for it to open, and then kill them. Because as I say, your B main player, unless like if that door is open, all that tells him that there's more people here. But he's already waiting for these people here anyway, unless he's pushed up to like this position for some fucking reason, which is a really bad position, I would say, as a CT because of that door. Unless I guess if you're playing here and you're aware they're not there, maybe you could do something like that. But generally, your B player is going to be on the site, so it doesn't really bother him whether that door's open or not. So just make sure they don't get into heaven and kill him. Otherwise, you will hear an earful of probably Russian insults, and nobody wants that. But yeah, I think that basically covers it. Just don't let them get through mid onto A, because your A players will not be happy. And A is quite a difficult site to hold as it is, because you've got long, and this is a really cool part of long, I think. Like, you don't really see a part like this on any other map, where you have a slightly elevated position directly onto the site. Here, after plants on this site, you can just smoke this, and you basically just win the round, because that's the only place they can really retake from are there and there, because flanking around the map takes forever. They can come through here, I guess, but you can just watch that. Like, a smoke like that basically wins the round. Yeah, you want to just... your A long player is quite important, because if he dies again, your A player... I mean, obviously every position is important, but it's quite similar to train, in that if you lose one member of your team, you can lose a lot of control on the CT side. Mirage, obviously, if you lose one player, you can sort of rotate around and get away with it in a way. Inferno, you can just play 2 and 2, and it's kind of fine. Overpass, you can play both sides with 2 people on it. But like Train and Nuke, you lose one CT player and you're kind of fucked. If it's 5 versus 4 on Nuke CT side, you're in trouble, because they can be pretty much anywhere behind you. And this is quite similar. If you lose your mid player, they can be here. You lose your A player, like, without a trade. An A long player is just going to get fucking massacred. He's going to try and rotate in, but by then they'll have planted the bomb. And they'll have won the round. Obviously a really simple plant is just that. Yeah, you can plant there. And you can cover that from long and there. And basically win the round. A really, really safe plant is just behind here. If you're ever in a 1 versus 1. And then you can actually just kind of play it from here, I guess. Not sure how much I like that, but... that's quite simple. Yeah, you kind of don't want to lose any player on the CT side without a trade, because you're probably going to lose the round. I know that is true of most maps, but I think it's even more true of this map. You lose your B player, your Heaven guy has to go massive, he has to get 2 or 3 to give you a chance to retake. You lose your Heaven player, it means they can boost up here generally, unless your mid player has some great control, and then your B player has to worry about 2 different angles that are pretty difficult to watch. So, don't die would be my advice on how to play this map. But I hope you've learned something. A simple CT smoke on B is quite a nice one. If you go take anything, there's a nice flash for the door that I showed you as well. And then the CT smoke for A from long is quite a nice one as well. So I hope you've learned something. I hope I haven't bored you to death. And if I have, I hope you learned something in the meantime. And I'll catch you some other time. Thank you for listening.